Hey everybody, hi. So I'm using the Taro Apocalypse and the Energy Oracle cards today. I'm loving the Energy Oracle cards lately. And I shuffled and I pulled the two cards off the top of the deck for the thumbnail, and it's the Ace of Cups and the Contract. Contract and the Energy Oracle cards, it feels like it's been taking this energy for a while, but it's like the things that you do in order to get the fulfillment of something else. So the thing itself, at least the energy that I feel, the thing itself isn't contracted. It's all of the things that you fulfill to get the thing. With the Ace of Cups in the contract, it's coming through as an energy of understanding the things that are internally binding. And that manifestation card came out in reverse for the. This is a side note. Manifestation card came out in reverse, and I was talking about how it's like something that it's sort of already been in the works. Instead of manifesting a new thing, that thing is going to be coming through. Yesterday, one of my family friends visited, and she's the one who got me on like disability services and stuff like that. And after a long time, I partnered. I have a case now with the Bureau of the Blind, and so anything that I need in that regards, like they'll help me get. They're the ones who actually told me about all the extra services and stuff. And when I went to get a checkup before I looked at all of the like tools and equipment and stuff, that's when they found the cataracts, and I got them operated on. Anyway, she like that's her field, and she was over yesterday, and she was like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm still looking for work." And she was like, "What about that job I sent you? Like, did you like that? It's a tech position or whatever." I was like, "What?" Now, for some reason, that email went to my promotions folder on Gmail, so I didn't even see it when she sent it. And then I was looking at the requirements, and it was like 3 to 5 years of experience was a requirement, and I didn't meet that because I have like 0 years of experience. And when she was talking with them, she said that like they're looking for people with disabilities and they're willing to train. First, it's remote, which I've been wanting. I kind of forgot that I wanted it, but then I remembered. I think I talked about it, how I wanted remote work so I can like travel and do stuff and still work, right? Not be so geographically bound. And it's not that like, because I kind of sort of want to experience a few cities, and if I have a remote job, I can just do that. um, it's working with veterinary medicine. So it isn't like the super pharmaceutical field, but because of Elanco, I was already looking at veterinary medicine anyway. As because like with pharmaceutical or experience, it's like it's similar. It may not be regulated as heavily, but it's super similar. So if I wanted to use the experiences there to apply it to the actual medical field or the human medical field, pharmaceutical field later, I can do that. She was like, they take care of all the equipment, they train you, you do it remote. I was like, what? I haven't seen it in a while. Like that was a few months ago. So I got on the email and I clicked on it, and it still says apply now, and it feels like my next step. I'm like, oh wow, this is it. So today I actually have to do stuff. Um, I mean, there's stuff I have to do. I've been wanting to update my resume for a while. I haven't done it. But with this one, I would have to like highlight certain things that I've done more. Because for this job, there are more like relevant experiences than others. So I need to go in and do that. I'm also helping my mom today after this. Anyway, it's this energy though, because I was getting the rest and rejuvenation cards and the relaxation. And it was this energy of like calm down. You don't have to do so much. It's basically done already. And then that happens. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this opportunity a while ago. Now, how does that play into this? In this cup, it looks like there's blood in it, right? But there are also these white flowers or lilies or something off to the side. And it's the blood, sweat, and tears that we've already put in. Honestly, this Ace of Cups, it's feeling like an energy, like there's a wishing well that we've been throwing coins into, making wishes at. But there is a monster that lives at the bottom of the well. And the monster, it's not a bad one. It's like a wish granting Leviathan Kraken thing. But it's like waking up. And it feels like it's about to assist us in all kinds of ways. Like things are about to just open. And with the contract energy, it's like there are things that we have to do within ourselves to work with an energy that grants wishes. Kind of sort of because in a like be careful what you wish for type of space, but not necessarily. It just feels a lot more effortless and flowy. The bottom of the deck is the Four of Wands. Four of Wands with the Ace of Cups coming out. So I think more than anything, like it is like it's at the altar, but two people meet at the altar. A relationship is more than one person, right? And there is a little bit of a relationship with the self here. Like you have to meet yourself at the altar before you can meet anyone else. It was with the contract. It was coming out as again, it's like these things that we're almost legally bound to. These things that we think that we have to be bound to that might interfere with whatever the Ace of Cups is bringing us. Bottom of the deck here is the Healer of the Ages. They're both sixes. Under the Healer of the Ages is that caring connections, right? And so the Healer of the Ages, it's like you're in court litigating, is that the word? Over the conditions that govern your life. And the Healer of the Ages is your attorney. Let me see if I know anything. The Healer of the Ages is your lawyer. And there are certain things that the court is arguing against, and the Healer of the certain things that sort of bind you in whatever ways that you're bound. Attachment, All Tied Up came out yesterday with appreciation. Attachment is a card that I saw when I was shuffling before I turned the camera on. And what it's doing, it's like it's invalidating all of those things that bind you. It's coming up with like counter arguments. And it reminds me of what I said yesterday that like you only need one piece of evidence to prove something is not true. It only takes one instance for it to not be true. No matter how many areas it's applicable in, if there's one where it doesn't fit, it's at least not universal, right? So today, let's get into this. It's already been like 8 minutes of rambling. There may be opportunities coming back. There may be things that like it's almost like a Four of Cups energy into a 9-10 of Cups. So when it was originally presented and when you accept it or receive it, there's like 5, 6, 7, and 8 and or 9 that happened between that acceptance. And it feels like even if it is a job, there's some like emotional blockage that was in the way because it's all cups. But it's emotional blockage in the sense of like self-worth. And that's what like the contract, that's what the Healer of the Ages in court. That's what the Healer of the Ages is in court arguing against right now. It's self-limitation and all kinds of stuff that keeps you contractually bound to not accept anything that would take you into another phase of life. It's like you're trying to terminate a lease. Or that's what, the landlord of Shadow, the property manager of Shadow is saying. It's like your lease is still whatever. But your lease was up a while ago. They just want your money. But the Healer of the Ages is there to argue in court that either the lease has been violated on their side. Either way, whatever lease to Shadow you had, it's like it's null and void basically. So I was randomly woken up at like 3:59 a.m. It was like sounded like somebody was like screaming or there was a loud noise, and I wake up and I'm like, I'm kind of like low key a little scared because I just like abruptly got woken up, and I'm like, yes. And then I didn't hear anything. Like there wasn't a noise. I look at the clock, 3:59. I was like, oh, the new moon is in like half an hour. So, or that exact conjunction between the sun and the moon was like in half an hour. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be up for it. I think this is chill jazz today. Let's take it down. I feel very like almost frantic, but excited. Well, I know I'm personally excited because of what I talked about. It feels right. It feels like the next step. It's enough of what I want and enough of what I was already considering to be like a perfect sort of fit because it provides an opportunity and an arena for growth outside of the complete what I was expecting, right? Plus, when I was in the bathroom, I overheard her talking about the celery range, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, of course, he may not start there since he doesn't have the experience, but I'm like, "What? Okay, yeah, that's nice. I can get down with that. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of stuff, and it was already in my inbox. That happened like last year when I was like, I keep getting these emails. I think they're spam, but they weren't. And then I read it. I was like, oh snap! Medical school in Abu Dhabi. All right, okay. I feel like I need to just breathe for a second. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. What is this? Saturday morning chill jazz, smooth March jazz, relax, springtime jazz, coffee music. And of course, it's Cafe Music BGM channel if you're curious. There are 2,244 people watching now. Stream live 22 hours ago. 22, 44, 22 hours ago, twos and fours. All right. It's still buzzy, but I'll keep going until the card comes out. So today, for the 13th of March, a few days out from Aries season, what do we got? I think I'm going to do the Tarot Apocalypsis first. Woman holding a heart is at the bottom of the deck. Who at the top? The Garden and the Gate. Man holding a coin, woman holding a heart. The Garden and the Gate. There's an energy of like walls. Walls, perspective, focus, timing. It's interesting that the woman holding a heart came out today though, because it's been the man. I don't even know when the last time I saw the woman holding a heart was. It's definitely. I think it's a time to be more fluid and receptive in matters of the heart. Not only like romance, but in sort of all elements of connection. It's a softening energy. When it comes to like finance and when it comes to like daily life, there's almost a need or a call to be not necessarily proactive. It seems like a business sense. There's a business sense energy, like intuitive business. It's not the woman holding the coin, so it's not like full on, like like a super intuitive approach. It's more like a business sense approach, but there's a newness to it in there somehow. Like this is someone who knows that the market is changing. So it's still masculine energy, but it's like telegraphed. It reminds me of like if you play a game and it's a fairly dynamic game, it's like a well telegraphed attack or a well telegraphed move. like before the boss actually makes the move, it tells you through its actions or through how where it's looking or how it moves its body, or if there's like a big like red circle that pops up and you're standing right in the middle of it, you probably want to get out of the circle before the attack animation goes all the way through. And so there's something that's being telegraphed, and the man holding the coin is like paying attention. And again, like with that red circle, sometimes you have to move. I don't know if like the garden is about to implode. Probably not. Something is about to happen in the garden to the point where it's like we're gonna know it's time to like leave the garden. And I talked about the garden yesterday. And shame. Shame is what got Adam and Eve out of the garden more than anything. And so I guess self-worth is also in there a little bit. It's all that contracting type stuff. Okay. Let's see if we can start here. Or not. Can I get something? These don't want to talk today. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups. Top of the deck is the Hanged Man. 2 threes. I don't think I'm going to pull anything else today. I guess we are still in the space of the new moon, and that makes sense. This time, or at least how I'm feeling the new moon, like with this, especially with this Pisces, like super stellium. Not super stellium, but like the new moon happened at 23 degrees Pisces, I believe. Venus and Neptune are conjuncting around like 20 degrees. So basically, Venus, Neptune, the sun, and the moon are all in the same space. And Pisces is a very collective yet individual energy. And it feels like it's an energy where dreams are, where dreams can come true. It's like Neptune is anchoring the space of dreams. Venus is giving her benefic grace or blessing to that. But the sun and the moon there's a need to understand one's own heart's desires, the desires of one's own heart, beyond anything else. And it feels like there's like a bridging or connecting energy. It feels like a look at the heart and its light and its dark and what sets it aflutter, and also with what holds it back. It's that garden and the gate energy. And then that woman holding the heart, man holding a coin. It's not necessarily a tug of war on the heart, but it's a question of like internal fulfillment and validation versus maybe like external stability or the appearance of something. And it isn't necessarily for anything to happen like right now. It's to be aware of it. Be aware of your strengths and be aware of your limitations. And I think that's going to be the most important moving forward, because we're going to be put in spaces where we can shine, but we're also going to be challenged. And if we can accept if we can accept our limitations, and if we're soft and vulnerable enough to communicate them, then it's that energy of the ox. Whatever we can't handle or whatever like we need someone else for, they'll be able to cover that. But it's like they can only do it if you communicate it to them. No one's going to necessarily do anything on their own accord. But again, there's that energy of like seeds that were already planted. What is this book's title? I got it as a gift. Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. It's that creative living beyond fear energy and that big magic energy. And it almost feels like it's a time to test your mettle. I want the wisdom of Lord Commission. What spirit is it? Lord Commission. It almost feels like it's a test of your mettle, but not really. Like it doesn't feel like it's coming from the space of a test. It's just like life. Like, hey, like here's the next thing. It may be a little challenging, but like you got this. Anything you need will be provided if you ask. And it feels like there's a little bit of an energy of like, you know, the folks who you can depend and rely on for X or Y or Z, or you know what resources there are to utilize in this case or scenario or that one. If you don't, then you'll be able to find the answer if you want to. Okay. I'll give it 5 more. 4 more. 3. There we go. 2 cards. Bottom of the deck is Revelation. Yeah, it's Revelation, number 15. There's a lot of purple and white featured in this card. Honestly, this card reminds me of The Promise. Because you see, like, there's like a galaxy down here with all of the purples in it. The Promise from the video, promises to keep and miles to go before you sleep, maybe. But it's like Ganesha is very intently looking at this. And from like with that top down view, like from being in it, it comes as like this, like, oh my gosh, like that's what this is for. This is what that was for. It feels like puzzle pieces coming together, things that have happened throughout your life or that you've been seeing recently, all of a sudden, maybe things that you in your own lives were considering or that came up that got you to think about it a little bit, maybe coming together in a way that is an amalgamation or a rearrangement or some kind of assortment of things that has been a thing lately. And it feels like from a top down view, like the divine or spirit is waiting to see what you do with the opportunities that come to determine which ones will then follow. Right? It's like if there's a Applebee's in Kentucky, but only Kentucky. If you don't go to Kentucky, you're not going to see an Applebee's. So the divine can't put Applebee's on your path if you don't go to Kentucky, right? But you may not necessarily know that you're going to Kentucky for Applebee's because, again, it's just a potentiality. One of the many, many, many things that you could discover in Kentucky if you go to Kentucky. And so that's that, like, that watch and that focus to see, like, what else lines up. The 2 cards that came out with Revelation, it's Generosity 10 and Enlightenment 27. Generosity and enlightenment, it speaks to an energy of like seeing the blessings of the divine in action. It's recognizing it. The card that came out, fulfillment, number 6. Okay. It was sticking up, so I just pulled it. It didn't come out, but it was sticking up. And there's the lotus. They say that lotuses come from mud, and it's sitting on top of his head. And so it feels like a little bit of a muddled mind or a murky mind, or not necessarily mentally being able to see things clearly. But with the revelation and the enlightenment around the generosity of spirit, I feel like a certain trust comes. And so it puts us in a position where we'll know or we'll believe, potentially, that we don't need to know everything. But in the moment, we see what our next step is. 15 and 14. Decision is under this. It's 31. It's almost 13, 14, 15, but it's 31, 14, 15. Drive is under that revelation. Here's the revelation. Drive is like, okay, well, are you going to do it? Like, are you going to go through with this revelation, or are you going to let this one sort of pass you by? And in the drive card, he's riding the mouse. He takes the visage of an elephant. There's an energy of not only facing our fears, but in some way following our fears to fulfillment. Now, like if you have a fear of heights, I'm not necessarily saying, like going skydiving. But like, let's say you have a fear of public speaking, and there's an opportunity. I think I've used this kind of sort of before. There's an opportunity for a raise or for a job that you're looking for, but it has a certain element of public speaking. And maybe like everything looks good on paper, it looks amazing. You interview several times, you make it through. And then one day, either you come across the information or they bring it up. And it's like, would you also be open to presenting this or like doing training or whatever? And if you're like, oh crap, well, I have a fear of public speaking, like everything else was good, but like how I was with like I don't have that 3 to 5 years of experience. So, But fortunately for me, she was here to tell me that she was informed that they're training people and you don't have to have the experience. Now, that's not something that they advertised in the email. And again, I guess that goes back to the 7 of Cups, 8 of Cups thing yesterday, where it's like, you go to the desk, you go to the counter, you go to a company, and they don't provide information that they don't have to provide. But someone somewhere knows what the real tea is. And again, this coming after that contract with the Healer of the Ages, public speaking no longer has to be a fear so great that it prevents you from accepting an opportunity. And then it's like you land your dream job, metaphorically, or maybe for you, literally. Decision was behind that, though. I'm going to read 27. I'm going to read 10 and then 27 and then 6. Because that's the order I kind of sort of saw him in. Yeah, that's the order I saw him in. Generosity. Excuse me. Compassion for others is a natural result of being aware and conscious of your own feelings. When you are generous in spirit, you take complete responsibility for your life. Work with Ganesha to assist you with stepping up to do the right thing. This is especially important when you are filled with fear and conflicting feelings. Here's the fear and conflicting feelings. That's what I was talking about yesterday. It's the 2 of Pentacles with the 2 of Wands. Like, this isn't working. I need to do something new. But as soon as you go to step out, you're hit with the wall of the 3 of Swords. But if you can continue to push beyond that, you're going to hit the point where the clouds part, the sun comes out, and everything is revealed to be the space of your dreams. But with decision, it takes a certain commitment to self that even if it gets challenging or difficult, you'll continue anyway. At this point, or at some point you'll know it's worth it. I'll start over again. When you are generous in spirit, you take complete responsibility for your life. Work with Ganesha to assist you with stepping up to do the right thing. This is especially important when you are filled with fear and conflicting feelings. Respect others and live a conscious life. Champion others, support them, and actively want them to succeed. Living from this space will create an open heart and mind that will touch anyone who comes into your presence. Be tolerant of ideas and behaviors that may not align with your own thoughts. Spend more time looking at what is good and positive in someone else rather than what you judge as negative or bad. Embrace others' differences. Give freely and from your heart. Choose to no longer manipulate and do not do favors with strings attached. As you continue to give, you may find that you no longer envy others. You will be able to give easily and at the same time receive when the same is offered to you. This will go a long way to eliminating the feeling of being separated from others, and you may find yourself genuinely happy. Look for and assume the best in people and treat others with respect and acceptance. Now that whole like what they say, be tolerant of ideas and behaviors that may not align with your own thoughts, spend more time looking at what is good and positive in someone else rather than what you judge as negative or bad. In the past, as in like even a week ago, even like a few days ago, that's something that I struggled with a lot because I felt justified in like, well, if someone is like doing anything to limit the access to resources or freedoms or livelihood of someone else, then like why would I have to blah 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 whatever? Like that's not right. Why would you do that to someone? And it wasn't until very recently that I was like, wow, like from a certain perspective, is that valid? Yeah, sure. From the same perspective, or maybe a few others, is that justifiable? Yeah, sure. But is that something that I want to continue to hold? Not really. And honestly, I feel like that's been one of the things for me that's beginning to unlock a sort of like ease, a universal ease. That's just like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm done with like fear and stuff like that. Like, I still get nervous or anxious. Yeah, sure. But I don't know. I've had my own revelation, I guess. And it's the season. Enlightenment. 27. I don't know why it almost read as enlightenment. I don't know what it means to be unlightened. Maybe enlightenment, going back to that, the energy and generosity, it's like taking the spotlight and the focus off of certain things, or not being focused on something that you don't allow for the possibilities that lie outside of it. That's the enlightenment, I guess. Connect to your true source to manifest your desires. The color purple, there's a whole lot of purple in this. Also, it's a pretty good movie starring Oprah Winfrey and some other folks. Some folks that I should know, but I feel like Oprah is the only one. Not the only one. Oprah Winfrey, girl. Whoopi Goldberg. Why did I say Oprah? Oh, girl. Mama, like The Color Purple is one of my mom's favorite movies. I really said Oprah. Is Oprah in The Color Purple? It's Whoopi Goldberg. But there's somebody in there that I feel like I should know their name. Whoopi Goldberg. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I think it was Whoopi with eyebrows. Sorry. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, connect to your true source to manifest your desires. The color purple is associated with being art, creativity, and spirituality. It is considered a color of honor, courage, and is sometimes associated with royalty. Ganesha is sharing the purple hue to assist you with your spiritual journey inside yourself. By connecting with him and this energy, you will be redirected back to your true enlightened nature. Your crown chakra is the purple chakra that is connected to your well-being in body, mind, and spirit in this life and beyond. In this life and beyond. All energy blocks keep you from connecting to your true source. Set a clear goal of how you would like to connect with your higher self. You may choose to be a healer or to practice a specific modality such as Reiki. You may simply choose to meditate. Everyone has psychic ability and a connection to the divine. Open yourself up consciously to opportunities that will help you reach your goal. To really enjoy living life on Earth, the more you can do to release the limiting programs and emotional patterns, the more quickly and easily you will manifest your desires. You can create your life as you intended. Choose to live life fully and achieve real enlightenment, where all things are possible. And that's stuff I've talked about. So, moving on to number 6, fulfillment. So, no matter what you want to do or become, you will achieve more with knowledge. Let's do it. There we go. Fulfillment. This image of Ganesha reading the scroll is a symbol of the importance of education and the pursuit of knowledge. This might mean there is a period of increased study and learning at hand. You may find you want to inquire about a field of study that has been widely explored and choose to go to an experienced teacher to learn more. Look for someone to consult for more information. This may be a counselor, an author, a psychotherapist, or some spiritual advisor. You will discover new skills from the helpful teacher as they have the wisdom to provide excellent guidance and advice. Keep in mind, there is also a wealth of information at your fingertips in books. Everything you read fills your head with new information, and you never know when it might have a practical use. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to tackle any challenge that lies before you. Additionally, knowledge can never be taken from you. No matter what you're longing to do or become, you will benefit from gaining more knowledge. Approach this time with great curiosity and an open mind. And I think generosity talked about an open mind and heart. For me, that's going back to that energy of like knowing your limitations and being vulnerable enough to seek out information, a mentor, a person to make up for what you're lacking. And then last but not least is the revelation at the bottom of the deck. Here it is. There we go. Ooh, get ready for key changes in your external and internal worlds. I love this. You have come to the end of a cycle, and it is time for you to create something new. Through this card, Ganesha is indicating that it is time to break down some of the structures that you have created in your world. This has the potential to feel painful and challenging if you resist the process. This revelation coming to you may relate to your ego and your illusion of separateness from others. You will develop a new perspective on things, and your revelation will help you grow stronger, wiser, and more composed. You might encounter some challenges along the way, but these are necessary for your spiritual growth and enlightenment. Honesty will bring about a positive change, even if you experience some pain and anxiety throughout the process. When you begin to reach for your goal, you will come to realize that your true security and strength lie within yourself and your relationship with the universe, and not in some false belief system or artificially created world. Be willing to reveal your truth to those around you. And again, I feel like there's the undertone between fulfillment and that revelation of like everything that's happening in that courtroom between the contract and the healer of the ages and whatever shadowy prosecution there is to try to keep your lease up. Hey Zelda, how you doing today? Trying to say that like, oh, if you leave, you'll be validating your lease or you'll be violating your lease or blah 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 whatever. Right? But it's a lot of that energy. It's kind of gorgeous. Not necessarily easy. But, what in life is easy? What worth having is easy? And it feels like it sort of gets easier as you go along with it. It's like you'll see someday. Just take it for now. Priorities. Number 30. I actually want to read this one too. Be candid 25. The end of Revelations did say be willing to share your truth with others around you. Be candid 25. Priorities 30. I'll just read the blurb for Be Candid because I'm curious. Be Candid says it is essential to express your truth even at the risk of standing out. So there's that truth expression again. It's like don't lie in court. You put your hand on whatever book and you swear that you won't lie or whatever, even though I'm sure people still do. But the healer of the ages, it's like if you lie in court, it's going to be harder to represent you accurately to get the ruling to go in your favor. So there is quite a bit of vulnerability that's coming in right now, or that's needed right now. Priorities. Make the most of your time. Every day is a gift. You have the option to make the most of what life is offering you. If you long to create organization in your life, you will benefit from prioritizing. Your ideals determine what you seek in life, what you will seek in life. Your priorities are most visible in how you use your time. Ganesha is holding the water lily and emphasizing the importance of your values. He encourages you to know what you truly want, what makes you happiest. There are always blessings that may not be apparent in the midst of a disappointment. Time is not something that can be saved for later. When it comes to the time allotted to you each day, you only have a limited opportunity. Make your choices about how you spend your time in accordance with your highest values. If you languish or procrastinate, the moment will be gone. Reevaluate how you have been spending your days and how you can strive to be more satisfied. In terms of priorities, for each major decision, such as education, occupation, place of residence, marriage, or parenting, you may ask yourself, what will be the impact of my decision? In all choices, make sure that you are certain of what your priorities are. Relate your goals to ways to bring love and blessings to yourself and the people who you share your life with. Okay. Well, we saw that decision card. Is that the end of priorities? Yeah, it is. Oh, well, 31 is decision. Decision says consider all your options to make an informed choice. And then fulfillment was talking about gaining the knowledge, right? And so if your biggest in that sort of job scenario, if your biggest hangup is a fear of public speaking to the point that you don't take what is essentially going to be potentially your dream job, that's that enlightenment. It's like, let's not focus on the things that you can't do or the things that you're afraid of. Let's focus more on what's possible in this expansion. Let's focus on what you've already come. Let's focus on what you can already do now that you never would have thought yourself possible of doing. And after you look at all that stuff, ask yourself, am I going to let my fear of public speaking keep me from all that I've been wanting and desiring? And that's a you question. You on the way into work? No problem, Zelda. I mean, it's honestly just, it's this energy of us knowing our strengths, knowing our limitations, being open and honest and vulnerable, connecting to our truth, sharing our truth, and then challenging old, limiting beliefs. It's not anything necessarily new or revolutionary, but actually doing it is new, or potentially new. Okay. I mean, the cards ain't really coming out today, so let's see. Final message, though. I'm sure y'all want to say something before I put this deck away. I know you do. I'm just going to keep shuffling until something comes out. I hope you have a good day at work, though. That the shift isn't too, like, it doesn't feel like it drags on. That it isn't too crazy. Oh, come on. That almost came out. Oh, that's a lot. Oh. Okay, I'm taking it. Oh, wow. Okay. There's also, not a need, but yeah, a need to be a little less critical and a little more accepting. I know for me personally, I had reached a level of judgment that apparently, again, like I thought it was justified, but justified or not, it sort of violated or it began to violate my core principles and values. I started to become somebody that I don't really like, and it's not that I like became someone that I don't like. It was just that like it became too restrictive. Maybe that's a better word. Bottom of the deck is judgment. That's why I brought that out. Some people are flying, and other people are just trying to make it to the Little Rock, Arkansas. You could be going to Arkansas. But I saw the World card in Strength. Oh my gosh. This is okay. So here's the World card. In the World card, there is a feminine figure holding a sword and a bowl of fire. It may be a heart that's on fire. And then there's a masculine figure at the bottom, arms wide open, ready to catch whoever this queen is. They're both fairly naked, but there's this blue cloth that connects them. There's these stars that are leading the way. There's a constellation up in the sky that I don't know. Let's call it Sagittarius or Aquarius. I don't know why, but let's just call it Sagittarius or Aquarius. Or not. Well, there's two constellations here. Actually, the constellations are probably the ones for Capricorn, Scorpio, um, Aquarius, and not Capricorn. It's Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus. World card is fixed sign energy. But I feel like I would be able to recognize at least the Taurus one. And she has wings. So there's this like, I guess I'll call it like divine feminine grace and this divine masculine triumph over the ego. And it reminds me of the woman holding a heart and the man holding the coin that were separated by the garden and the gate. A need to leave the comfort zone. Like, look at it. And he's like down there ready to receive her. And then after that, wearing like you see the blue cloth up there, the blue cloth that's like tying both of them. The Empress came out behind the world with another blue cloth. I don't think these are birds of paradise. I don't know what a bird of paradise looks like, but it's giving me bird of paradise energy. And there's also a lioness in here. Lots of reds and greens. It's reminding me of cornucopia. So this is the end of it's the end of a major cycle. I mean, we have the world card, the Empress, and then again, it's this Four of Wands. But we have to meet ourselves at the altar before we can meet anyone else. And sometimes, depending on your path, you meet yourself and someone else at the altar. It kind of sort of depends. But the Four of Wands, through the energy of marriage, it's a card of commitment and a card of a decision that you promise or commit yourself to make day after day, regardless of how tough making that decision becomes. And so I think sometimes when we face our fears, we kind of sort of think it may be like a one off thing. It may be something that we do multiple times. But every time we do it, we know that it's worth it. Under the Four of Wands is the Three of Wands. So going from the four to the three, there is a little bit of a like a far-sighted energy. Like it may be something that we see of as down the line, but that we're not necessarily ready for. But with the four and the three, Seven of Wands, even if this Four of Wands isn't something that you fully approach now, the Four of Wands strengthened by the three, it's like it becomes this vision that gives you the strength to do whatever it is you need to do. It reminds me of like when I was a freshman at Purdue and I hated it. I've talked about this before, so I'll try to make it quick. It reminds me of when I was a freshman in Purdue and I hated it. I was alone. I didn't really know anybody there. I just shut myself in my room basically all day. But there was this really cute dude. And I was like, and he would like talk to me. He would stop by my room. And I was like, a dude is a terrible reason for me to stay here. But I still feel like this place is where I belong. And so until I find my place here, I'm okay with the cute dude being the reason why I stay. And it was because of that cute dude that I knew about the opportunity to work at the front desk at my dorm. And that for me solved the problem of like, for me, it was an opportunity to get to know people that I live with, to begin to branch out, network, or make friends, but also to make some money. And it's that front desk job that led to like me meeting so many different people at Purdue and probably having a like, before I became an RA, I didn't have a lot of leadership opportunities. Like I didn't have a lot of leadership experiences. I never really took them. I had the opportunity, I didn't take them. And so for someone who didn't have like leadership experiences, I was like fairly well connected throughout like the professional staff there. And that's like, it was the first year I worked at the front desk that I met my journey buddy, Emily. She was an RA and I worked at the front desk. And so that's, or at least that's what it's feeling like to me. Like, even if you don't engage in this Four of Wands energy fully right now, just knowing that it's a potentiality out there in the future could give you the courage and strength that you need in the moment to do what you need to do. And it isn't necessarily you doing this because of the Four of Wands, because again, you may not necessarily be there yet. But if that's the star that leads you in the right direction for now, then follow it. If that's what it takes to get you to stand in your power and to close old chapters and old cycles, follow it. And like, there's still a whole life, right? Even if the Four of Wands is something that you are like closer to, there's still more life to live. Like I said, it's like we're sitting at this like Four of Cups energy coming into a 9 or 10 of Cups, but there's still the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8 and or 9 before we get to that 9 and or 10. And we don't have to shortcut the 5 through the 9 to get to the 10. And that's like what the Four of Cups is. It's the divine presenting it to you before you're fully ready for it. The last card that came out is Strength. And I guess that kind of sort of follows up with the, oh my gosh, the Seven of Wands, that's minor strength. I saw the Knight of Wands in this deck, and that's pre-strength energy. Well, bottom of the deck is Judgment. Healer of the Ages, Aquarius is, I think I'm going to title this like Follow, oh my gosh, Follow the Star to Freedom. It reminded me of the Drinking Gourd, Harriet Tubman, Underground Railroad. Follow the Drinking Gourd. And there was an energy of things that were put into song to remember it, to make it easier to remember, or to maybe like encode a message. But a song sung from this heart feels very sweet, but it has like a sort of morose undertone. And there's like a I know why the cage bird sings energy. But it's like not only is the cage about to be open, but it feels like the whole cage is about to just like, all the walls of the cage are about to like just fall down. But the perch is still going to be there. So if you want to stay in an area that you're not encaged in, you can. You have that choice and that freedom and that right. But if you want to fly, you also can. There's a lot happening in whatever that chord is right now. But again, the cards that came out, the World, the Empress, the Four of Wands, the Three of Wands, and the Strength card. And you know what I love about this? Seven of Wands is minor strength. But the Three of Wands is beyond the two. Yesterday it was the the Three of Wands came out yesterday too. The Two of Pentacles was that, like, I know that there's more. The Two of Wands was that beginning of the journey to attain more. The Three of Swords is that wall that we hit of basically any and every negative emotion that would keep us in this space where we know things aren't going to work, but we try to do the best that we can. But the Three of Wands and even the Four of Wands, it lies beyond that space. And here's the strength to do it. The strength to become this Empress and to close those cycles. With Judgment at the bottom of the deck, it's like it's a decision that you reach within yourself. And then Spirit can really begin to, like, work with you to free yourself. I would say, though, don't put a time on it, right? It's like, it's at your pace. Even though sometimes Spirit will act like, or it actually will, like, push you off the ledge. Kind of, in a way. But it all happens at your timing. There's no need to rush. But also, the longer you take to reach this spot, the longer you are where you are. Type of energy. And it's like Shalimar, make that move. The longer you wait on love, the more you'll be without it. But again, we meet ourselves at the altar. Oh, snap, look at that. Happy family with the door to Spirit. Okay, so Spirit's like, we're not going to push you, but just know that you have that happy family. You have that Four of Wands, that Ten of Cups, but also know that there is a journey between the Four of Cups and the Ten of Cups. And just because Spirit presents something to you in the moment doesn't always mean that it's for you in the moment. Because again, there's a progression from the 4 to the 10. Oh, carrying connections in the garden and the gate. That's that limitation. It's carrying connections with the man holding a coin. Carrying connections with the man holding a coin gives a lot of context to his actions. If there's a woman holding a coin who can't understand why this man holding a coin won't take her out or do whatever. Not traditionally, like if I saw these in the space of a love reading and someone's like, this person's gone distant, and it's like they say that they're working all these hours or blah 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 whatever, and like I don't know what's changed. All of a sudden things were like really good, things were really really good, but things just changed. Like, is he cheating on me? And it's like, no, he's actually working more hours because there's something that he wants to surprise you with, and he needs a little bit more money to get it, so he's working some overtime. Girl, calm down. Not like calm down, but it's not the worst. And again, speaking of the 4 to the 9 or 10 of Cups, there's this energy of like, he's going to get a haircut, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. He's transforming and changing in some ways before he comes in with this and carrying connections. And hair can be a representative, because it's something on the body that's continuously growing, of time invested in a situation or in a space. So there was a lot of time invested in this old sort of pinnacle way that the world worked. And there are some things that he needs to sort of unlearn, relearn, or do before he's fully ready to commit. But this could also be you to you. Because commitment with self or commitment to self is also important. And I talked about that. Final message from the Energy Oracle cards. Gorgeous things coming in many, many, many areas and aspects of life. And some of them may kind of sort of be all happening at once. And so we may be facing a lot of fears in a short amount of time relatively. But prioritizing, connecting to your truth, and genuinely, openly, and honestly communicating that truth will make the process a lot smoother. There we go. Oh. We got 3 and 35, Blossoming Abundance and First Chakra Archangel Michael. Yeah, there's some things happening at the root chakra level. Root chakra is our foundation. It's literally the ground. And the ground sets the tone for whatever's possible. More than the seed, more than the external conditions. If the ground itself can't support something, it'll fall. It'll fail. And so as the root chakra is being healed, as we're seeing more and more the sort of gears and mechanisms that get us to operate and behave in the ways that we operate and behave, as we adjust and fine tune our own clocks to align more and more, or to align more to the timeline, since we're talking about, tuning clocks to the timeline that we want rather than the timeline that we're coming out of. It's like it opens us up more and more to abundance. Bottom of the deck is the Magician in the Mirror. I think that's why the contract is so important, because we define, we determine, we dictate what it is that we will accept and what it is that we won't accept. And so the Magician in the Mirror is reminding you that even if you get an opportunity, even if you get what you've been manifesting, if you're not in a space to receive or accept it or grow with it, then it's essentially going to be as if you never got it in the first place. You're a bigger factor in the equation than you may know. I want to. Okay, second chakra archangel Ariel. Just in the middle. I saw Michael and Ariel come out together earlier. That's root blockages. Maybe that's a way that you view yourself that prevents you or makes it hard for you to show up in a space to meet others, or to express your creativity, or to see your creativity as one that is valid or worthy of being seen, or whatever. Not whatever, but what have you. So that's what I got. I don't know what I'm going to title this, but I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that when the thing finds you, when the opportunity finds you, when the next stepping stone finds you, you'll be able to see it. And that if you desire, you'll be able to take it on no matter what internal resistance there may be. Because internal resistance, if you continue, again, it's a very Knight of Pentacles energy. It's not a race. It's like it melts away over time, potentially. All right, bye.